Hi, I'm Manny, and to be perfectly real with you, I have no idea what I'm doing with these videos or even my art, but it feels good, so I'm probably gonna keep doing it. As I mentioned before, I have this weird habit where I have a ton of naivete, and I am easily swayed by watching other people do cool creative stuff. And I go, ooh, I want to try that. And then I'll kind of abandon the thing that I'm doing, which is like silly in retrospect. But it is very easy to get me to want to try something other than what I'm doing, even if I love what I'm doing. But yeah, I'm just gonna try and keep doing this because I honestly don't know what else makes sense to me because sometimes it'll be like, oh, I want to try pixel art. I want to try to do some animation in Krita. I want to try a little bit of 3D. But something within me just is very like frustrated at I at the fact that I can't just seem to like pick something and stick with it. And I think that instinct is getting stronger and stronger. So hopefully I can be a bit more just committed to doing one thing instead of trying to, flip from thing to thing because that's not what I want. Like at the moment, it feels like what I want, but eventually the call of just drawing and doing exactly what you're watching me do right here on screen will overpower that, and I'll just come back to it and I'll feel bad about the time I wasted trying something that I wasn't even really gonna stick with. And speaking of sticking with things, I came back today to Monster Hunter Wilds because I'm not burnt out on Warframe, but variety is the spice of life, and it does help to switch it up every once in a while because I've been grinding Warframe pretty hard. So I came back to Monster Hunter Wilds. I took my lance and I decided, all right, let's give these 10-star arch-tempered monsters a try, and I went into a quest with randoms because I rarely ever like start a quest solo. I'll just go into the SOS tab and just join other people's quests who happen to be hunting things that I want to hunt or whatever. Like I basically just passively like make progress on my equipment based on whatever the hell I've been hunting with others that day. But yeah, I jumped in and we were hunting Arch Tempered New Udra, like 10-star Arch Tempered New Udra, which is the octopus, the oily octopus. And I'm kind of nervous because whenever I play with randoms, even though I love it, mileage may vary, but I'm afraid of wasting another person's time with my bad skill or my lack of skill. Like it's something that happened a lot in Final Fantasy 14. Like I stopped paying the subscription because I wouldn't play for days at a time because I was just so scared to go into any dungeon or trial or activity because I was like, yeah, but what if I mess up a mechanic? What if they have to put up with my lack of skill? And that just wasn't fun for me. The game was amazing, by the way. The story was incredible. The gameplay is awesome, but I have this issue, and it's weird because it doesn't extend onto how I perceive others. Whenever somebody else takes an L or gets carded or whatever, I'm usually like, it happens. Keep fighting. Let's give it an honest try. Even if we lose, it's fine. But for some reason, I just don't necessarily extend that to myself. So I am very, very worried that since I'm rusty, I'm going to end up causing us to fail the hunt. So I start out by playing a lot more defensively than I usually would, and that's really saying something because I'm a guy. I'm like the hunters in Monster Hunter, right? I'll put my shield in my main hand because defense is more important. But I'm acting even more defensive in a hunt than I normally would. Like I only go for like specific surgical like lance pokes on spots that I know will deal a ton of damage because the way I usually would play lands is I use a lot of comfort skills instead of a lot of offensive skills because I would rather be able to stay with the monster constantly poking it. Like it doesn't matter that I'm doing like 30 damage a poke because I'm poking it so often and I'm like relentlessly attacking it because I have all these comfort skills keeping me in the fight. And I just prefer to play it that way. I don't like to do the high damage, lower on survivability type thing. So I'm playing it really, really defensively. I'm, blocking all the attacks and only poking when I'm sure he's focused on somebody else. And I'm starting to get the used to his attacks again because he does this thing where he will swipe his tentacle in one direction, and even if you think you're clear as he swipes it in the other direction, he will get you with the back of it and you'll still take damage from the hitbox even if it doesn't necessarily knock you down. But I instinctively kept my guard up even after he did the first swipe because, like, part of me feels like, yeah, he's gonna swing again, isn't he? Yep, there he goes. And I kept blocking it. And then we got to the big attack. This attack is responsible for, I'm willing to bet, as many cards as Bloodbath Diablos' stupid steam. He paralyzes you with the roar, and then you might as well just cart if you get paralyzed by the roar, because he's gonna get you with the steam explosion charge. But anyway, what he does is he spits a bunch of oil into the ground, and you'll hear the audio cue because he goes as he spits the oil into the ground, and then he does a flamethrower attack that propels him back away from you, and then there's a huge nuke explosion. And even if the explosion doesn't kill you, which is it most likely will, unless you have max guard up, and adaptation level 2, um, the fire AoE that it leaves on the ground will kill you. But I have adaptation level 2, which negates all the AoE fire damage and the fire aura damage that you take from just being near Arch-Tempered Nudra. And the explosion happens, and I put my guard up, and I hope, God, please let this chip damage not be too crazy. And so I put my guard up, and I managed to block the attack. And even though I can, after the explosion, I can put my guard down and move out of the fire because adaptation level 2 won't let me take the heat damage. I still keep my guard up, and I'm slowly moving back into position to keep attacking it. And as the hunt progresses, I start to become more loose. Like, I start moving more naturally. I don't need to be as careful because I just instinctively know when to block and when to move. And I start becoming more aggressive. And we start actually clapping this thing. It was incredible. Like, it felt like the first time you learn how to play a game, but you played it before. As a matter of fact, I actually recommend that to anybody whose gaming experiences might be getting a little bit stale. Go back to a game you haven't played in like fucking forever and play it again and see if it feels like playing a new game that feels somewhat familiar. Like, I actually want to like recommend this feeling because it was a ton of fun coming back to it. I might come back to the other games I've ignored for the longest time. Not Path of Exile 2 though. That game still, I'm still salty about it doing me dirty. And besides, like, learning how to actually build in that game is a freaking nightmare for me. But anyway, that's about all the yapping I got for you. Thanks for listening. I'll see you in the next one and have a good one. Bye bye.